Hello, hi! It is William calling from wiwibloggs. It is really balmy and hot here in London, and yeah, I want to take my mind off that. So I thought we could talk about, very briefly, the full televoting results, which were just released by the EBU. Yes, that is how each country ranked the other countries in the televote from 1 to 26. I think we should talk about it. Are you ready? Let's do this! Yes, 43 countries competed in the grand final, but of course countries can only vote for, 42 others because they can't vote for themselves. And the ranking is out, and Portugal, which came last overall, received last place in the televote from 26 countries. That's over half the countries who voted. That's really bad, you guys. The jury gave them a bit more love, but this really low televote explains why they finished last. It's always hard for the host country to do well. I mean, there are exceptions like Sabina Babaeva, who came fourth for Azerbaijan in 2012. But Portugal's song, I guess it just wasn't as high impact, It was very melancholic, very slow. It was quality. You can't say that song was not quality, but I think it just, maybe it's not high impact enough for Eurovision. But Portugal should be proud because it was very atmospheric, very ambient. I think that's the word, ambient. Maybe ambient music isn't right for Eurovision. But Claudia, she looked amazing. Izora, she was working those strong cheekbones. She sounded great as well. They blended. They killed it at the Wee Wee Jam. They should be proud. But yeah, other countries to come last. Let's see. Serbia, 7 times. It came last 7 times. And we talked about this in our earlier review videos during Eurovision. They didn't really fill the stage. I liked their voices, I liked the song, but something about the stage show was just a little boring. And that probably reflects the fact they got 7 last place positions. I mean, you kind of see a pattern here, right? Portugal, it was real nice, but when you've got performance after performance after performance, you need something a bit more bam to be remembered, and maybe this also lacked the bam. Yeah, it's very ethnic, very nice. I feel like in the old voting system, well, no, what am I talking about? This came last in 7 countries. Clearly, it doesn't make a difference. Yeah, televoters just weren't feeling it. All right, Slovenia, last place in 5 countries. I can understand that. I liked this personally. It was a guilty pleasure, but it is very old school Eurodance, and maybe in some cultures it was too thrusting, too out there, too in your face. I personally like that. I think this was a really fun performance, and I like when people go crazy and wild and they're not afraid to be themselves, and Leia Sirk is not afraid to be herself. You cannot say that she is. But yeah, 5 countries gave her no love, or rather very little love. Spain came last in 4 countries. God, that really hurts. I mean, I really loved the studio track. As you know, going into Eurovision, this was like my number 1 or my number 2 consistently. They sounded great. They looked great. I really liked Amaya's dress in the final. Albert mixed up his suit, went back and forth, looked very nice in the end. It was, the romantic matador and his beautiful queen. I'm talking Letizia, honey. But yeah, the staging wasn't as strong as they were. And again, they came early in the running order. That's something else to notice. I think all of these countries have actually. Weren't Portugal, Slovenia, and Spain all in the first half? I think they were. In any case, Spain came last in 4 countries. Now, I haven't actually looked at the breakdown of which countries awarded them last place, because that gets real detailed, but please comment in the comments box below. There's a link on wiwibloggs which links to the detailed voting results, and you can start digging, but I wanted to get the conversation going. Yeah, I think it came down to staging, because that song was quality. That song was touching, and it made me real emotional, and I think they had the chemistry too. They peaked at the right time. The grand final performance was their best of all the rehearsals. It's just there was no pyro. And Spain's staging director, he has now quit. He has left the scene. He says he will not be back. He says he's done personally and professionally. Don't know why I took it so personally. But yeah, so maybe next year, the winner of OT, if they do decide to choose the Eurovision act from OT, will have a better stage scenario. And Finland came last in 1 country as well. Oh, I don't like that. She finished, what, next to last overall in the end? But only came last in the televote once. Yeah, I loved it. I liked the stage scenario, the androgyny of the dancers. In any case, there are other things to discuss. It's not just about who came last, it's also about who came 11th. Because when they calculate the televote, you only get points from a country if you were in their top 10. So a lot of countries may have come 11th or 12th or 13th, which is pretty good out of 26, but they don't get any points, right? So like, they end up looking like they did worse than they did. Let's just go through this. Estonia and Norway, that's Alina and Alexander Rybak, they tied for the most 11th place finishes. They each had 6. So 6 countries ranked Estonia and Norway just at the threshold, just below the threshold to get points. So, you know, on a different night, different running order, you know, something very subtle, they might have been pushed up and gotten a few more points. Other countries, oh sorry, no, let's look at this. Estonia came 11th in Australia, Azerbaijan, San Marino, Serbia, the Netherlands, and the UK. So in all of those countries, televoters almost gave them points. Let's look at Alexander Rybak. Oh yes, okay, he did really well in the Nordics and ex-Soviet nations, blah blah blah. Ukrainian and Finnish televoters put him 11th. He also got 11th in the Czech Republic, Israel, Montenegro, and Poland. So again, he came close in a lot of countries. Many people were surprised that he didn't do better in the end, but clearly, if all of these countries had given him a little bit more love, he could have gone even higher. France, Madame Monsieur, they came 11th in 5 countries. Austria, Cesar Sampin, came 11th and 4th. Of course, he was the jury vote winner. He placed 3rd overall. You know, maybe countries will delve into these results and they'll be like, in the next cycle of Eurovision's Next Top Model, in the next cycle of this show, they'll campaign harder in those countries maybe if they were just on the cusp. Because, you know, it just takes a little bit of PR sometimes. Like, if you go to a small country like Malta or Cyprus, like, you can really affect the televote if you're like, hey, I'm here, because, you know, 50 people remember you. That's like, you know, kind of significant if you're only getting a few hundred televotes. Okay, they're getting a few thousand, but you get my point. Alright, so these are all the country. Who else did well with 11th? France, 5. We said Germany came 11th in 3 countries, Bulgaria, Macedonia, France. Wait, what? Oh, I don't know what this means. Curiously, no one seems to have ranked Hungary last ever, which is good in the televote, whereas juries often did, so clearly AWS had some appeal with the people. Another interesting stat, this comes from our Icelandic blogger. She points out that in the first semi-final, oh wow, Azerbaijan did rank Armenia last, as you'd expect. These countries have a long, you know, ongoing feud. Armenia did not ranked Azerbaijan last in the televote. They ranked Iceland last. So televoters in Armenia rather, would prefer to vote for Azerbaijan than for Iceland, which says something about the appeal of Iceland's song. Oh my goodness. What else is happening here? Oh yeah, Robin, down in New Zealand, wiwiblogger at wiwijury, she points out something very, very interesting. I was interested to see how Australia did, given that they had the overall lowest televote. So you would expect that a lot of countries were putting her last, but no. They just missed out, Jessica Malboy, on getting televote points from Lithuania, where they were 11th, and Ireland, Norway, and Sweden, where they were 12th, and then 12 other countries had Jessica between 11th and 15th. Of course, 26 countries had Australia in 16th or lower, but no one ranked Australia last. And yet she still comes last in the televote when you add it all up. It's really curious. It's really, really curious. What else is on here? Well, goodness, you know, this is just the tip of the iceberg, you guys. We haven't kind of delved 100% into this, so you do that, please. And in the comments section, leave some comments. We have a full post on wiwibloggs about much of this. Let us know what you think. Why did Portugal do so poorly in 26 countries? You know, why did Sarah Alto come last in one country? And what did you make of those countries that came 11th? Do you feel bad for them? Do you think it would have made a difference in the overall vote? Pull out your calculators, your abacuses, and let us know here on wiwibloggs. Oh, and just like that, it has cooled down. See, these videos, they are therapeutic. I'm gonna film another one right now. See you later. Bye!